Welcome back to another episode of Sports Dan Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker, and you see Izzy here with me. You know we're here to talk some hoops. So, guys, the NBA playoffs have been rolling. We are in the middle of round two. So now, for the losers in round two so far, the Sixers and the Lakers, what do you think should be their offseason plans?
For the Lakers, I think it's pretty simple. You got to really build around Luca. Now you have the flexibility to do so. You have the draft picks. You're gonna have cap space. Most of that's gonna be eaten up. When you re-sign Austin Reeves, which is something that Luca really wants apparently. But I think that's a priority for them. You just got to get more athletic. You got to get more wings. You got to get a starting caliber big man because DeAndre Ayton's not cutting it. Getting a new chain when you're down 3-0. I don't know. But yeah, they just need to upgrade the team around Luca. And I know they got him just last year, so it's kind of been hard to build the team and his vision and things like that. But he signed the extension. LeBron's coming off the books now. You have a lot of free agents that you can probably let go. But yeah, just really bringing back Reeves is the main priority, and then getting some wings, through the trade market or free agency, I think should be their top priority. Because we've seen the vision with Luca, like what the perfect team around him is. It's guys that could defend, shoot the ball, and you have athletic bigs. We saw it with the finals team that the Mavs had just 2 years ago. So I think the Lakers can do something in the similar vein. We'll see how successful they are with it. But overall, a pretty solid season for them, I'd say. Got out the first round without pretty much your two of your best players against Houston. I know you get swept by OKC, which was not fun at all. But it's OKC, they're a buzzsaw. Not really a lot you can do, especially when you don't have your best guy. But I would say overall for the Lakers, it's an improvement from last year because you lost in 5 last year in the first round. You got a series win. JJ Redick gets his first playoff series win under his belt. And now, it's about continuing to ascend. And I think within the next 2-3 years, they'll probably have a deep playoff run or two. But I think that's what they should do.
Okay, yeah. For the Lakers, you gotta get a new big. I'm not gonna lie. You need someone.
Yeah, it's just goodbye, DeAndre. Bye-bye. Like,
Yeah, I think they just need an athletic big because Luca and Austin Reeves they love throwing lobs to the bigs. Also a big that would be an anchor on defense. I feel so that would be a big thing for them because Luca a plus defender? No. Is AR plus defender? No. So you're gonna have to have plus defenders around those guys who are phenomenal scorers. So I think that would be one thing. Uh, the big question is going to be LeBron, whether he resigns or whether he leaves. It's going to
nobody
be
knows what LeBron's going to do.
like
Last.
literally,
Nobody.
literally. I think nobody's in LeBron camp knows what he's going to do
He
for
could
us.
just straight up retire. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Nah,
Like,
that wouldn't at all. But it was crazy to hear this quote from Dylan Brooks. He was like, he got one more year in him. Like, I just can't imagine him just going out like this and doing things like this and this type of fashion, to where he said like he deserves a farewell tour. And one thing I gave Dylan Brooks a lot of flack, but one thing I can't respect is how he admitted that he was a fan growing up, but like when they play, when it's between the lines, it's all business. But I also
yeah, 100%.
he respects LeBron, respects what he done for the game. And I just said to myself like, dang, like this probably what the Unks want. They want us to be not buddy buddy on the court, and then outside like we have respect, but no real beef. I feel as so having a huge competitor like that goes toe to toe with LeBron, physicality wise, but non the stat sheet or anything. I feel so that's a big thing. But if LeBron retires, shout out to LeBron. But I feel so he has one more year
I
left
think he does too. It's just a matter of
if it's
where
in
he
LA
wants
or
to
not.
go. Yeah, where he wants to go. Does he want to stay in LA, close to his family, close to his son that's in Arizona, which is not that far, stay close with his daughter? Or does he want to go pursue another championship? Does he want to go to back to Cleveland and do that? Does he want to go to Golden State and team up with Steph? Like, does he, maybe go to the Knicks somehow because they had interest in him before? I don't know. Like, I think anything's on the table. And then I saw a report today from Jake Fisher that said that he might be willing to take the veterans minimum. So, and I think that changes a lot of different things because that means literally any team in the league can sign him, when he's a free agent. So
Yeah,
that's going to be something to look out for sure.
yeah, for sure. Let's go with the Sixers. I'll start off. The Sixers. Daryl Morey is now fired from being a general manager, and I know the city of Philadelphia is rejoicing because he chose Quentin Grimes over Jared McCain. Um, that's a move that a lot of people question, and now we're seeing Jared McCain hitting threes for the Thunder, being a phenomenal piece for the Thunder. But
Literally
now,
exactly what they were missing off the bench too.
eh, don't get me
Now they
started.
have him and AJ Mitchell, so it's just
Don't
like,
get me started. You're good. You're good. You're good.
yeah.
You're good. You're good.
I
You're
love
good.
AJ. I love me some AJ Mitchell. Oh, hey now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the Sixers they need. I think Kelly Oubre is probably gone. Uh,
Should be. Yeah, I think they need an entire reset on the wing, to be honest. I think that's what they
Wings,
need.
yeah, they probably do for sure. Maxi, I think Maxi's going to forever be a two. I think Maxi won't be a one for a championship contender.
No,
He'll
I think your ceiling with Maxi as a one is what the Blazers had with Dame. And that's your ceiling with Maxi as your number one option. And we saw Dame, and I'm not saying Maxi will be as good as Dame because Dame obviously at his peak was amazing, but your ceiling was always capped with him because of how they built the team around him. So I think you can maybe get to a conference finals if you get lucky with Maxi. But I think, like you said, to win a championship, he's gonna have to be a number two.
yeah, backup big, backup big that can start some games. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Embiid will not be healthy for a full 82 games. He might can
Yeah,
get you 50 through 60, but full 82, that's just no
no,
brainer.
yeah.
VJ Escombe would like to see him take a leap because during that Celtics series, we saw
He will take a lead. VJ Edgecombe next year, we'll see him in most improved conversations. Like he's gonna be VJ Edgecombe, in my opinion, the best shot that the Sixers are gonna have with this current iteration of the team is if he becomes their best or second best player. I think that's what's going to need to happen if they because there's not really a lot that they can do to be honest in terms of rebuilding and resetting with this team because Embiid's extension starts next season with 3 years, $190 million. Nobody's touching that. Like nobody in the league is going to touch that contract. Maybe Sacramento, but no team in the league is going to touch that contract. Paul George, same thing. $200 million guaranteed contract when he first signed. He's got 2 more guaranteed years left on it, and I know he kind of showed flashes in the Boston series and, two-way potential, things like that. Maybe he could just get healthy and, finish out that deal. But again, no one's going to want that contract as well. Quentin Grimes, I remember when he wanted $20 million, $25 million, and we all laughed. We're still laughing, brother. Like he was not that good in the Celtics series. I think picking him over Jared McCain was a huge, huge, huge mistake. And the Sixers are going to regret that for a long time. And I know ownership, signed off on the deal as well. But I know deep down that's kind of why Morey got fired, to be honest. And also signing George that massive contract extension, or contract, free agent contract.
oh yeah.
Um, but there's not really a lot that the Sixers can do. So your best hope is VJ Edgecombe takes that huge all-star level leap within the next year or two, which I think he can because this dude has the work ethic. He's got the skills. He's got the drive. Was really, really good this year. I was really impressed with him. Kind of reminds me, like I've said, of a young Anthony Edwards kind of thing. If he really works on that jump shot, I could see him having an Ant type ceiling. But he'll be very, very good. I'm really excited for VJ's future. So that's something I feel like can hang their hat on. And they do also have a first round pick in this draft. So hopefully they can add another young piece.
Yeah, for sure. And them getting Bob Myers to come in and be their GM now, I think that
Well,
can
he's going to lead the search for
he's gonna lead the search.
yeah. I don't, if
Would
Bob
that
doesn't want to come back
but if he's leading the search, that means he'll be involved with
for
the Sixers.
sure.
So that means winning a winning DNA. So that'll be good. Okay, so now the Knicks. Since we talk about Sixers, let's talk about the Knicks. Sweeping the Sixers. People, I personally thought I was gonna go to 6 games, but
I also thought 6 games.
but things didn't transpire to go that way. So now with the Knicks dominating in that fashion that they did, do you think that the Knicks are the title favorites to come out the East?
I think it's safe to say that they are, right? I mean, they've won 7 straight playoff games. We were, you know, game 4 against Atlanta was what, like 2 weeks ago? We were talking about, oh, if the Knicks lose, the whole thing is over. The Knicks have completely, they just sat up in their chair since then. 7 straight playoff wins, and all of them pretty much dominating fashion as well. In the Sixers series, they basically had 4 home games in a row, which was, I've never seen anything like that in my life. MSG South is real, is a real thing. But I'm really impressed with this team. I really, really am. And I got on them a lot, throughout the regular season for being inconsistent, Cat being inconsistent, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges being inconsistent, Mike Brown, was he really an upgrade over Tibbs? And honestly, I think we all just have to apologize to them at this point, right? They're getting back to the conference finals. This is probably their best chance to get to the NBA finals in 25 years. Like, I know last year, they got to the conference finals 2 games away, but the Pacers were just the team of destiny. Like, I think we all felt like the Pacers were going to win that series. But this is their best chance because now Detroit and Cleveland, which I know we're going to get to, is basically in a war. That's probably going to go 7 games. So whoever you get out of that series is going to be in back-to-back 7-game series because both of them went to 7 games in the first round. So the Knicks are going to have the rest advantage. So this is their best chance to get to the finals in a long time. And I think this is also their best team. I've never seen him play like this in the playoffs. The fouls are down. The turnovers are down. He's playmaking at a high level, which he's always shown flashes of, but he is like literally their offensive hub now. They've completely changed their offense. They're less reliant on Brunson. And he's still getting his as well. OG Anunoby before he went down, absolutely stellar. And Bridges seems to be getting his confidence back as well. And then you have guys like Deuce McBride, Mitch Robinson, all those guys. So I think the Knicks, I'm just really impressed with them overall. And I think they are rightfully so as of today. I think they are the favorites in the East, and I think they're probably gonna make the finals for the first time since 1999.
Yeah, GG. Yeah, and the thing about it is, the New York fans. Oh my goodness, we're
Yeah,
gonna.
no, they're insufferable. But honestly, this fan base hasn't had anything to be happy about in 25 years.
Yeah, so I gotta give credit where credit's due. I think the turnaround. I think Mike Brown deserves a lot of credit,
He
and
does.
I say that because he's got Deuce McBride to play with confidence. He's got Deuce McBride to come in and help out his starting unit sometimes when things are rolling early. Then he can come in and make the impact. I think the front office getting a guy like a Jose Alvarado who screams New York, who's from New York, who's from the towns of New York, understands that like this is the passion, this is the fire, this energy we gotta come out and play with. And I feel as so having the energizer bunny like that will be key. Is key. Uh, we talked about the playmaking with Cat. I think that takes Brunson to another level because he won't be as exhausted in the fourth quarter. Because we all know Brunson ball is going to happen, but at
Yeah, Brunson Ball is closing time.
yeah,
That's what it is.
but the first 3 quarters, Cat's gonna look like the best player on the floor. Let's just go and call it spade a spade. Cat's gonna look like the best player for the first 3 quarters. Then all attention will be on Cat. We have to send a double at Cat. We have to make sure the ball is out of Cat hands. So you're telling the Knicks, hey, the ball's getting out of Cat hands. Let's give it to Brunson and let Brunson go 1-on-1. And that's basically barbecue chicken during this playoff run. So that's been a key thing that I've been noticing. The X factor for me outside of Cat, OG Anunoby. I think OG Anunoby, he has been phenomenal for this group, with his two-way ability, guarding some of the team's best offensive player, and also coming back and giving you 20 a night. I think that's a very key thing. I know he has the hamstring thing going on. I think
Yeah,
he'll be healthy, ready to go, because
yeah, he's expected to come back. It just came out for Game 1 of the conference finals, so
oh yeah.
he'll be ready to go because this is
So
the Cavs Pistons can be a long series. So
yes, so go ahead and get ready for 18 points tonight and guarding the best team's defender. I mean best the team's best offensive player. But that's going on. I think the Knicks, I just hate to say it, but the Knicks are the favorites out of the East.
they are. I mean, they
It's
really
not
are.
easy. Like you can
Got to
hate.
look at it objectively. They are.
Yeah, yeah, you just gotta give respect where respect is due, and they earned that. So now going along with that, we're talking about OKC. OKC swept the Lakers.
Yeah.
Now OKC wins the championship. How uncomfortable those conversations will be for SGA.
Very uncomfortable because then he'll have. Looks like he's probably gonna have another MVP. If they win the chip, he's gonna be Finals MVP. So he'll have another Finals MVP and he'll have another ring. So he'll have 2 straight seasons of chips, Finals MVPs, and regular season MVPs, while also 2 of the most efficient scoring seasons in NBA history. Like, that's a hell of a resume. Like, that is an insane resume. And while also potentially starting a dynasty with the Thunder, if they get this second straight chip, when you win back to back, that's when the talks start of, okay, this could be a dynasty. Because if the Thunder win the championship this year, they'll be the first back-to-back champion in nearly a decade. Because we've alternated new championship winners for the last 7 years. So if they get that, Shea's all-time legacy, resume, whatever you want to call it, looks a lot more competitive with some of the guys we put in, these top 20, 25 conversations, to even top 15. So his resume is going to be very, very comparable. So it's going to be tough to argue against that case. I guess it depends on what you value, and maybe you want to see a little more, I guess, from Shea. I don't know if you want, like, I don't know how much more you want to see, but I know people, it's hard to satisfy people nowadays with all-time discussions. But if he does that, we're going to be talking about Shea. We're going to be talking about this Shea run as one of the better peaks we've seen in NBA history, if he's able to finish the job.
Yeah, for sure. I think that this SGA talk, I'm not a big SGA like fan saying like, oh, SGA is one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah,
But I think it's so like those conversations will need to be had. I think probably people gonna put him over Allen Iverson. People will put him over. Will there be a discussion between him and James Harden?
probably already there, right? I think we're there for both of those guys, to be
Okay.
honest. Like he's got an MVP, which both of them have. He's got a Finals MVP, which both of them don't have. So, and then he's got better playoff run than either of them. I guess AI has 2001, but Shea finished the job. But so I'll give him the edge in terms of playoff run. So he's got a playoff run better than both of them as well. So
Okay. So then now, do we classify him as a shooting guard or a point guard?
I'll probably say more of the two.
Okay. So then you have Dwayne Wade.
After this chip, I think we'll be have a conversation.
So that's where,
Not right now though, not yet.
yeah, for sure. But I'm just
That's next up on the list. Like in my opinion, the two guys you named before AI Harden, I think he's already there, if not past them. Then the next tier is like your D Wades, you know. So
so.
your D Wades, your Dirks, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the next tier. I mean, that's where Shea could be. That's the company Shea's going to be in if he gets a second chip.
I don't see it, but
Yeah.
for the teams that's still battling out right now, Pistons and Cavs. We saw Spider had an NBA historic 39 points in the second half. After only having 4 points in the first half, we seen K be the leading force for the Pistons. So between the Pistons and Cavs, uh, the Cade and Spider matchup, how do you feel about that matchup so far?
I mean, I think it's been about as even as it gets, right? I think games 1 and 2, you really saw Cade shine, and especially game 2, just literally closed Cleveland out. When they were making a run a little bit. So you saw that. Game 3, Spider was amazing, 35, 10, and 4. I know James Harden won the game down the stretch, but Spider got them there. And then game 4 was obviously all Donovan Mitchell. Historic half. We haven't seen that in 30 years. I mean, that explosion. I maybe only seen that a handful of times, maybe less. Like, literally went from doing nothing in the first half to 39 in the second half. Could have had 40 if he made free throws, which is insane. But I think this series, what it's come down to is whoever has had help, whichever superstar has had help, has won the game. Games 1 and 2, we saw your Duncan Robinsons make plays down the stretch. Your Tobias Harris is making plays down the stretch. Even Duran had I think it was game 1 where he had 3 straight dunks to end the game. And then games 3 and 4, you saw Harden help Don close the game out down the stretch. Evan Mobley also had a great game. Jared Allen as well. Game 4, Evan Mobley, historic stat line. First player since Michael Jordan to have 5 assists, 3 steals, and 5 blocks in a playoff game. So whichever superstar has had help has won the games. And I think Cleveland right now, the momentum is in their favor because their supporting cast is playing at such a high level. Whereas Detroit, it's like, who's going to show up today? Is Tobias Harris going to show up, or is it like Jalen Duren, who's been a massive disappointment? I know we're going to get into him, in a couple of minutes here, so I'll save some of that. because I need some explaining from you, Mr. Jonathan Hooker, for some things that you've said to me about Mr. Duran. Um, but just whoever has had help has won the game so far. And I know home team role players play better and things like that. And so tonight's pivotal because whoever wins game 5 wins the series 84% of the time in a 2-2 series all time. So I think this is a very, very pivotal game because I think whoever wins this is going to be playing in New York next week.
Okay. Uh, I think for me, I'm a big K guy. I think K is one of my favorite players to watch. I think in the game 3, oh my goodness, the Pistons could have stole that game, but
Yeah.
K turned the ball 3 straight times. I think that was the key deciding factor in that game because even after the turnovers,
Well, to be fair, one of them was the Max Struess just like leaped up in the that's like that was insane. Like, I'm not gonna put too much on Cade for
yeah,
that.
and,
That
and,
was
and, and the thing is, guess what? And you were celebrating that still. So let's move
yeah, I
forward.
was. I 100% was. But we're speaking objectively right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, but like I feel as though that was the key thing because after those turnovers, K comes down, hits a pull up three.
It's a
The Pistons are
three.
down 2,
Had the dunk. Yeah.
and then things just fell Cleveland's way with James Harden coming to close the game in the playoffs. So that I have to give credit to James Harden for closing the game out, but it was looking a little dicey at the end. For Detroit, I think if Detroit wants to win the series, they have to cut down on turnovers. Simple as that. And they have to find their offense outside of K. Yeah, Tobias Harris has shown up. Karis LeVert had a legacy game in
Oh
Game
yeah.
4.
Tobias had a really bad second half though. Game 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Tobias is key and steady as the OG of this team, I feel so they'll have a better chance of winning. But also, guys like a Duncan Robinson comes in, Jenkins having his impact on the game.
Yeah. Jenkins first 2 games amazing. Last 2 games where has he been? Like I. That's the one thing with Cade because the one adjustment Cleveland has made is they're blitzing the pick and roll now. Games 1 and 2, they were kind of playing it soft, so Cade could kind of get into the lane a little bit. But Cleveland's made that adjustment. So when he gets doubled, who are his outlets, right? Because Asar Thompson's going to be open 10 times out of 10, like that, which is yeah, great, you can get the pass off, but Cleveland's guarding him under the basket. Like they're not guarding him at the 3 point line,
Yeah.
right? Um, Duncan has been your best bet coming off curls and stuff, but Cleveland has kind of started top locking him a little bit instead of chasing him. And then Duran has been a disaster. So it's a matter of like who's going to help Cade, out in those scenarios. And I know people are like, oh, his turnovers, but the spacing, he's operating like in a box. Like there's no space for him to get anywhere, and it's hard to take care of the ball when you got 3 people looking at you every drive you take to the basket. Like it's tough. It's tough. So, and we kind of saw it in the Orlando series, and that's part of why they went down 3-1. They were able to come back because Orlando forgot how to put the ball in the basket. But it's just hard. It's hard as a superstar when you got
Yeah,
all this attention. It
yeah.
really is. So I sympathize with Kate.
I think we're gonna talk about later what co-stars and everything. I think Detroit just needs to find K's co-star. I think
Yeah, and it was supposed to be Duran.
Duran's a great 3-4, but I think for right now, K needs another co-star. I think they can do so with a couple trades or even using some cap space. But I
Yeah,
think Detroit K has made Detroit uh was it what was it? What is it? K has made Detroit viable to free agents be like, hey, how's Detroit looking like? What's going on in Detroit? Because
yeah.
3 years ago, you couldn't pay nobody.
Nobody was coming there. No, 100%. Yeah,
But
I
now,
agree.
since they have K, they've had playoff success. They had been a part of the top 3 seeds. I feel it. So Detroit can make a couple calls or make some things happen to where K gets his co-star. Now we're looking at Pistons being one of the favorites to come out the East. But I
I think
think
regardless of if they get out of this series or not, they need to make some changes.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah, I just hope that
sure.
management doesn't get complacent with, oh, we made the conference finals, or oh, we took the Cavs 7 games or whatever ends up
Yeah,
happening.
for
Like
sure.
I think regardless, you need to make changes.
Yeah, for sure. With the help coming, I think whichever helps come first. I think that's the main thing for me. I
Yeah,
think in this game 5, Duran has to step up. I think we'll see a good showing from Jenkins. I think we'll see a good showing from Harris. I think Duran's going to be the key one. Duran and Asara Thompson. I think if Asara Thompson scores 10 plus points, they win the game.
Yeah, because I mean, last game I think he was a minus 23 or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
he
like
just
and his.
wasn't there.
And don't get me wrong, his defense is amazing. Like this, Osar
100%.
is one of the best deep defenders in the league. But that impact, it's an offense league now. If the team's not guarding, if you're playing 4-on-5 on offense, it's kind of hard to keep you in the game. That's why we saw JB Bickerstaff play Karis LeVert 31 minutes because Karis was cooking. Because he was getting buckets, he was guarding well as well. So you'd rather have somebody that can score and guard well than somebody that can guard well and not score. So so that's why it's tough with the SAR. And I know Pistons fans are like, oh, his minutes and like stuff like that, but it's tough to have him on the floor, especially when you already have Duran, who's not a perimeter threat in the first place. You can't have two on the court at the same time. You can get away with one. You can't get away with two.
Yeah. Now moving forward to the West, to the other ongoing series, the Timberwolves and the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the impact of Wemby is second to none.
Yeah,
There are three losses during this playoff run. Wemby shot 5 for 17 from the floor. Wemby basically got knocked out for the game, and Wemby got ejected.
yeah.
You know how many points they lost out of those 3 games? You know how many
I
points they
saw
lost?
this. It was 10, right? 10 points.
So if Wemby plays, it's basically automatic win. So that's the thing. So now I have to say, now I've seen a couple conversations, seen a lot of clips of people saying, does Wemby impact alone make him the best player in the world?
Well, we got to see if he can unseat the best player in the world first. See that next series. If the Spurs get out, which I think they will, but that's when we can have that conversation. Because right now, Shea is the best player in the world, and I think we all can see that his resume, whatever, and all the stuff that he's done. Probably going to get another MVP, but in order to do that, you need to unseat the best player in the world. I think Wemby second. Don't get me wrong, because after the season that he's had, probably going to be runner up at MVP, just won DPOY. First of probably 15 that he's going to win. But I think that will be the barometer of, okay, if Wemby can beat the Thunder, which we all look at as a budding dynasty, now we can be like, okay, this brother's probably the best player in the world. Because I think honestly, whoever wins that series is going to win the championship anyways. So that'll probably be the conversation.
Yeah. Um, the thing is, like, with Wemby and how he goes, I think the highs of Wemby is just like, bro, there's nothing you can do about it. What was it? I think it was game three. Game three
Minnesota.
game three Minnesota when he scored 39, went 13 for 17
Oh
from
yeah, 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 yeah.
that game, I literally said to myself, hey, the league is cooked. I, I said to myself, I said the league is cooked. When Wemby came out that fourth quarter, he was like, bro, just give me the ball. Like, just find a way to just give me the ball and y'all move. Basically. And Mitch Johnson did a great job. One thing I can say about Mitch Johnson, if he wants Wemby to get the ball, he's gonna make sure Wemby gets that ball. The first play of that fourth quarter, he overloads on the right side. Wemby, you're starting from the elbow. Let's go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Gave Rudy just a simple 1-2 move, and he got to the rim. And that's the thing about Wemby. Wemby's game sometimes he overcomplicates it by dribbling a little too much for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can find a go-to move, which I think he'll develop, I think he's going to develop a fadeaway. That's what I believe will be his go-to move. But for what it is right now, if Wemby just simplifies and just get to his spots, there's nothing you can do about it. And I feel it. So that was a glimpse of it in Game 3. And if he continues to do so, that Thunder series, it gets interesting.
Well, because
Give
he hates Chet Holmgren, so like
no,
if
oh 100%. That's real big.
so
That's
yeah,
real big.
which is just like I'm praying for him really, because Chet's gonna have that matchup. So
Oh
um,
no, they're gonna give it to Hardenstein. They're gonna let Chet be the roamer.
yeah, probably either that or because who are you roaming Hartenstein off of? Because you're starting what Fox, Castle,
They're gonna be
Vassell,
Castle.
Harrison Barnes, Wemby,
They're gonna be
like
Castle.
So that's tough because Castle's been shooting it pretty decently, and he's scoring 18, 19 a game. can't just stick. You're not just going to stick your big man on him. You can't do that anymore. So
Yeah,
it's tough. It's a game of chess. It's going to be a game of chess for sure between Johnson and Dagnall. Again, I'm really not to write Minnesota's obituary early because and we'll talk about them probably coming up. But I think we all want Spurs Thunder.
yeah,
So
yeah. To tag along with Wemby, the young guards from the San Antonio Spurs.
Dylan Harper,
Go ahead. Go
love
ahead.
Dylan, man, love Dylan. Was the youngest player since Derrick Rose to get a double double in a playoff game or
Yeah,
something like that. I saw. Yeesh. Yeah, I love Dylan, man. Yeah, shout out Jersey. Obviously, always Don Bosco prep. You know how it is. Um, but yeah, no, Dylan's been nothing short of sensational, and I said it last year. He was my favorite player in the draft. That hasn't changed. He there are questions about, oh, is it going to work with him, Fox, and Castle? He's been fine as the super six man. And honestly, it's like kind of co six man because Keldon Johnson won six man of the year. So if Keldon Johnson wasn't like didn't have as amazing a season as he had, we're probably going to talk about Harper as somebody that could be in the six man conversation. Um, but he's been nothing short of spectacular. I mean, literally any time this dude comes into the game, he switches the momentum so fast. Like he's either scoring, he's either playmaking, or he's making a play on defense. He's a winning player at 19 years old, which is like insane for a championship contender. So imagine this dude when he's 22, 23, at nearing the peak of his powers, and hopefully has a starting role by then. Just imagine how good he's going to be. Like, it's scary. Like, this guy in 3 to 4 years could be one of the best guards in the league, period, in my opinion. Like, he has that level of potential. He has that ceiling. So, he was amazing last night. He's been amazing all playoffs. And he's kind of been their X factor of sorts. They're their Swiss Army knife.
yeah. One thing I can say about Dylan Harper, when he's in transition, just move out the way. He's
Yeah,
going that snake dribble into a good bump.
he had the double behind the back hezzy dunk. What the hell? Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's that for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's been crazy to see. Dylan being a super bench player. Probably we're gonna see what the Spurs do next season, but I think Dylan's gonna be in a starting role next season. Uh, Steph Castle. I have to shout
Yeah.
out Steph because when we talk about enforcers on the team, I think Steph is the enforcer during this.
Stephon. Yeah.
Yeah, Stephon. I think
Yeah.
Stephon.
There's only one Steph. Sorry. I had to correct you.
My bad,
Yeah,
my bad, my bad. You know what? You're right. You're right.
there you go. Yeah.
You're right.
I just don't want us to get yelled at,
Oh yeah, no,
that's what I'm here
that's
for.
that's
Yeah,
yeah, because
Yeah.
Mellow, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Continue though. Continue. I know that's your guy though. I know that's
No,
your guy.
Stephon Castle, I think he's been an enforcer. I think whenever we see Stephon Castle get into a little tussle, then we see the Spurs go on a little run. We see them back locked in. Then we see Stephon go ahead, dunk the ball a few times,
He
hit
was
a
talking a little bit to Ant yesterday after that dunk. You saw that hanging on the rim and he was saying something to him. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that like one thing about Stephon is he's gonna poke the bear and he's gonna stand right there in front of it and he's gonna meet that challenge. And I think that's what makes this Spurs team so good because they're so young, but they're not afraid of the moment. They're ready to meet that moment. And I think that's what they've been doing so far this postseason run. And one thing I can say about the Spurs, oh my goodness, one thing I love, we see Manu Ginobili in there talking to Devin Vassell, who's been amazing this series. Devin Vassell is going to be one
And
of
Harper, talking to both of them.
yeah, we're talking about both of them. They win one like I think Vassell's like the most underappreciated one out of everybody so far.
100%. Yeah.
So far, I think because he's been coming in, hitting shots, playing good defense.
Whenever he scores 14, 15 points, they win the game.
Yes, and the thing is, he's been doing very efficient and with very limited looks. And I think that's
Yeah.
been a very key cog for the Spurs team. I think Devin Vassell has been very, very good. He's probably on this run, probably the most underappreciated guy on this run. But when we look back at it, we're gonna say, nah, Devin Vassell was really going off for his role. I think that's one another thing, and I think that we see Popovich, meeting the team as soon as they land, and I seen the meme saying, "Oh, Wemby's in trouble." This, that, and third. I was like, bro, like, come on, Pop looks at Wemby like another son. I think I think one thing that speaks volumes on how the Spurs culture is. Like the legends of that franchise never want to leave. They always come back for games. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Bruce Bowen, who comes back from time to time to watch those games, and they're heavily invested in this team. And I think they know they got something brewing in San Antonio again. And if San Antonio wins a ring this year, just go ahead and spark up the Spurs dynasty. Like I think the dynasty
Or
that
them and the Thunder alternating, like
yeah,
the Celtics and the Lakers in the '80s. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's how I view it because it's gonna get good. It's gonna get good. But we'll see moving forward. I think and also this has helped Mitch Johnson grow up a lot because he faced a good coach against Thiago Splitter, who I believe deserves a head coaching job. I don't know what the Blazers are doing, but
that
um,
owner is gonna ruin all the good momentum they built, and I'm gonna be pissed.
bro, don't get me started. And
No,
then going against a Chris Finch right before Dagenhall, I think that's really
look, Finch has done an amazing job.
no
Given
Finch. Hey, one thing about
Finch
Finch, I never question his coaching ability.
Finch, yeah, he could come off, as like a little bit of an a-hole sometimes, and he could be harsh on his young players. But this guy can coach, man. Like he's cut from that cloth. And he's done a pretty solid defensive job on the Spurs. I think his defensive game plan has been good. It's just in his offense is a lot of different factors going against him.
Shout out.
Um, Julius Randle specifically, which I really just disappointed that he's fallen off this cliff that
Finally,
he
you're on
has.
the train.
No, I look,
Finally,
I'll say this: he had a good playoff run last year. It's very good. Um, he had a solid series against Denver for the most part, but this series he's really just struggled. And I don't know if it's the matchup, him in his own head, like it's been tough. It's been tough. Now, I will say defensively, he's been giving them some good stuff. I will say, I think he's really held up well on the glass, and he's giving them other things. And Chris Finch even said
yeah.
that, like his shot's not falling, but at least he's giving us other stuff, which is to me a sign of maturity. Because in New York, when his shot wasn't falling, he was out of the game completely. Like, right? Let's just call it what it is. When New York, when he was 2 of 14, you might as well just put him on the bench. But at least for Minnesota, he's giving them that impact. So I will give him credit where credit is due for that. It's just the offensive process has been horrible. So I don't know and I know he just signed an extension. It's team friendly though. It's like 3 years, 100 mil, which is not hard to move off of in
Yeah.
today's NBA. So if the Wolves want to do that, but I think just them and then Ant obviously being compromised, not being able to get to the rim as much as he usually like used to, and things like that. That's what's really working against Minnesota because I really do like the makeup of their team. I think they really just need a true point guard, which I've been saying for 2 years now. But yeah, and I know Io's been good, but I don't think Io's like a true floor general, if you know what I mean.
Six.
He's a six man, who's playing up a role right now. But Minnesota, another good season, but they got to make some changes. They got to add more offensive firepower.
So so who would be an ideal co-star to Anthony Edwards?
I mean, I think the dream is KD. They checked in on him last year. They checked on him again at the deadline. Yeah, I think KD would be the dream scenario. I think they're going to be a Giannis team. I think they're going to be in sweepstakes for sure. I know they were at the deadline, trying to dangle Jaden McDaniels, things like that. That's the only deal I would move off of McDaniels, and if it means getting Giannis or someone of that caliber, that's the only time where I would consider moving McDaniels because I think he's been stellar. Um, but I think in terms of that, yeah, I think getting if you get a true superstar like that, then yeah, but or just continue to move around the margins and hopefully get a point guard like an Anthony Simons, maybe a Malik Monk, someone that could just score the ball. I think that's really what they need, to be honest.
Yeah. I like the KD pick a lot. That KD pick,
Yeah,
I think for what it is, KD got a lot of flat this season for what he did in Houston, but he didn't lie.
he didn't lie. He
So
did not lie. So
so
so what now,
I
right?
think if Katie goes to Minnesota, I think that makes things a lot interesting because one thing about Minnesota and Chris Finch, they're gonna guard. They're gonna guard very well.
Yeah,
I
they've
think
been one of the league's best defensive teams the last 3 years.
yeah. I think that's gonna be one thing to watch out for this offseason. Not the right Minnesota offer or anything, but if it happens, I think that's one of the first people they'll inquire about and see what goes on from there. But yeah, I think this playoffs has been amazing. Really been some good moments during this playoffs, and I can't wait for next round because next round, oh yeah, it's gonna
We're
be
coming down to the end, Jonathan. Coming down to the end.
yeah. We only got like 2 more months, bro.
Yeah,
Like
a
this,
month.
this
We
month
gotta.
and this month. I'm counting this month, and next
Oh,
month,
you
but
got this month.
yeah,
Okay, we got the rest of this month, and we got final start June 3rd, I think, or whatever it is.
dang, it's really over, bro. And then we
Yeah.
got NBA draft talk though.
Draft talk, off season. Yeah, we got a lot coming.
Yeah, man. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to Izzy Substat. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Stand Substat. We got a lot more content dropping real soon. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the video. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.